Some people, yeah. Unfortunately, it is just going to have, let's see, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just gonna have my fucking keyboard sounds in it because my sound suppression is all. My sound suppression is all what's it called? Usually in Discord. Reduce crits. Monsters blind on hit. I kind of hate that I'm going Skin of the Lords in the end. Oh, it's such a crutch item. My whole build is honestly a crutch build. Everything I'm using is kind of just strung together and kind of works barely. But I finally got my Awaken Cast on Crit. But I have to corrupt it to put it in Skin of the Lords. Or switch off of Skin of the Lords. I haven't decided yet. I could go for the corrupt. And then reduce extra damage. I guess this is fine. I probably will die in this, but so if I get cast on crit, Awaken Cast on Crit, I think it goes to level 5 normally. It'll go to 7 in here. And then it'll go to 10. Is that right? 5, 6, 7. And then with the mastery, it'll go to 10. Which is kind of crazy. I don't know exactly how much CDR that is, but with Sabo, 40%. I mean, what is the other breakpoint? It's like 130 or 120.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
Oh my god, lag build. I should just finish my Atlas points. Oh my god, that actually did lag me. This build is such a mess. The frame. I swear these random Einhard beasts are tankier than every boss. What is this guy? Life regen? That's it? Oh, I guess I did roll the reduced damage from crits thing. It's so easy to do 0 fucking damage in this game. My DPS isn't even that bad, but okay, I got 5 stacks of this hunter's bullshit. Meme. 8 stack. I feel like this is such a fun node. I never noticed this node when they added this. Your bees have a 50% chance to come back out when you kill them. And then they give you a little stack that gives you damage and DR and then quantity and rarity against beasts.
Ah, there you are. Ready to.
And I think from its wording, it just says beasts, which it doesn't say Einhar beast or whatever. So if that's actually just beast type enemies, it's kind of good. This league is kind of weird. I kind of like it a lot, but at the same time, I don't know if people being upset with low loot is real or if I've just been unlucky or what, because my experience does line up with the low loot. Normally, I feel as though I would get one div in the campaign and then multiple divs on the way to T16 maps. Right now I'm at 320,000 monster kills, level 93. I'm not done with the Atlas, but that's probably because I always get to this point and then I get lazy and I don't want to just go around and buy the maps. Even though it's easier now, I should just buy all the maps and just do it, and I will at some point. But it's just, I don't know. It's part of that progression thing in this game where I get to this point, and this is where other games have a kind of advantage over this type of progression that PoE has that's kind of RNG based, where in another game, if you beat a level, you just go to the next level, you go to the next level, you go to the next level, and it's guaranteed. I feel like this thing always happens with PoE where you're like, I have to connive my way into getting these maps or roll Keurig or do a bunch of dumb shit. And I just, I like the progression in PoE in a lot of ways, but the map, early game, early league progression, I don't really care for. It's just, are you going to go buy the map on trade? Are you going to roll Keurig? Or are you just going to brainlessly bash your head against the wall until you randomly drop them? And it's usually, for me, it's a combination of I do the last one until I get sick of it, and then I buy them.
Good job.
But yeah, I have 300k kills on this character, level 90 whatever, and I have gotten one div. I just got it yesterday. I got it like past 300k kills, and I was like, I think I was level 92 or 91. So that is pretty, I think that's the worst luck I've ever had as far as divs or whatever or drops. And also, to be honest, my other currency has been pretty bad too. Like, my raw chaos amount has been pretty low. All that stuff. So maybe they did actually nerf loot, and it's not just people being butthurt. It's hard to say though. I could have just gotten unlucky. And I feel like whenever the PoE devs I do not envy. They're in a weird position where they've ended up, I wouldn't say held hostage, but it almost feels that way by the community. It feels like they're loved by the community, but at the same time, it's a toxic love where they're a little bit held hostage to the whims of the community. And whenever they make a change that's a nerf to stuff, unless it's a nerf the community's crying for, whenever they nerf new or do, or nerf loot or do anything like that, the community just gets so butthurt. I feel. Not always, but
With all fear removed.
it kind of depends. Sometimes some of the changes are kind of valid or whatever. And sometimes the community is valid for being upset. I also think some people just like to complain and just get a negative attitude. And there's kind of just this self-reinforcing negative vibe that it just feels fun to shit talk stuff and to complain about it and be like, if I was the dev or whatever, it'd be so easy to fix. When usually that's not true. You know, certain stuff it is. Certain stuff in PoE I do think is kind of dumb. Like, I don't know why they don't just take every league. There's so many skills in PoE. This is one thing I do think that they could do, and I don't know why they don't do it. There's so many skills in PoE that see zero play ever in any way because they're either way too clunky, or they're really bad mechanically, impossible to scale, or they have terrible coverage for damage, or whatever it is, right? All the skills that are essentially zero play rate in this game, they could just take a few of them per league. You don't have to do a ton, and just buff the ever-living shit out of them. Why not? Who cares, right? There's every other league. There's OP. There's OP bow skill. There's OP Deadeye, OP whatever, lightning. What was it? Lightning strike? I forget what the recent meta was. Every league there's some OP nonsense that the meta cucks are using, and that's fine. But why not throw in there, literally just go into, I don't know, Voltaxic Rift. There's always been the Voltaxic Rift dream that people have had. I say go into Voltaxic Rift and just double its AoE. Fuck it. Nobody uses the skill. It's a dead skill, pretty much. Just give it a hefty buff. I think if you double Voltaxic Rift's AoE, I think people still wouldn't really play it. Like, people would play it. Maybe it would be a build. Maybe. But still, maybe not. You see, it's kind of up in the air. Because that one is strong mechanically. Has a lot going for it, but it's just the clunkiest skill ever.
It's time.
But what is really the risk is, okay, there's this skill that's really OP this league. As long as it's not OP in a dumb way, like the exploding totems, where it's super low investment and it can legit 2-tap Ubers. You don't want it to be like that, because that is to the degree where it will actually fuck over a league. But for certain stuff, like Voltaxic Burst or whatever, if you buff its AoE, it's not going to one-shot Ubers. It's not going to completely destroy the whole meta of the game, probably. There's some pretty safe things. Like, I don't know. You could buff Ethereal Knives. You could buff some random trap. You could buff the trap support that supports spells or whatever. You could buff Ice Spear. Used to be really good. I don't know if people. I tried to use Ice Spear on this character and it didn't work out. You can buff, hey, Blazing Salvo, what I'm using. Although I think Blazing Salvo is decent. It's not that bad. But there's a lot of skills that are just temporal bubblegum, really, dude. Just ruins my trigger rate, makes me pee my pants. Why am I framing too? Just because I'm streaming. Jeez, what the hell? I wasn't framing with the big packs, and this guy's making me frame for some reason? What? FPS dropping to 2. We got 2 FPS. What is wrong with this mob that he's doing this to me? If he respawns from the RNG Einhard thing, I think I'm out. Oh! Quit it! Cold this bitch. Can you Cole Einhard, please? Oh my god, that was so cool. Did he respawn? Okay. Yeah, look, I'm not lagging that much. That mob was just weird. Okay, I am lagging. Never mind. Ugh, that makes me not want to do the breach. I'll come back to it. Yeah, the assassin. There's the assassin rework as well, which I started out as assassin on this character. I don't know. I think they kind of ruined assassin in some ways. I wish I could look at it with this, but assassin basically has 2 busted nodes, like 3 mid nodes, and then it has I want to say like 3 borderline useless or actually useless nodes. The bottom right node for the assassin, the one with deathmark, pretty much just isn't, like, I think that's the worst ascendancy node that I've ever seen. I could be wrong, but it basically just puts deathmark on your build, which, hey, I have deathmark right now, look, it's right here. Or assassin's mark, sorry. But right, that ascendancy node is essentially equivalent to this. 2 sockets linked together, and you put these 2 nodes or 2 gems in there. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with that node. It basically doesn't do anything. The defensive node that has 40% physical damage recoup for some reason on assassin, that makes no sense. Also, like, it could just be just damage recoup. This is POE 1, not POE 2. Physical damage recoup? What? That's like some juggernaut shit. Why assassin who has no defenses and who likely is getting one shot by physical damage, you're gonna give him physical damage recoup? The only use for that I could see is if you were gonna make a ward looper or the HP wardless looper with the rings, the hard down loop. But even then, you know, you should probably, if you're gonna go a looper, you should probably just go Sabo. Why would you? That's not worth it. Fucking 40 recoup only from physical. You just get that somewhere else. This guy, I cannot see what the fuck this guy's ever doing. I'm just gonna hope that I can kill him before he gets me. Ah! All of my techs got fucking discovered. I used to go, well, I still am going this. I always went Elegant Hubris, Supreme Ostentation, and I'd get Frenzy Charge on hit with it. And then I would always go the OP Watcher's Eye that had the gain flat ES on hit. But I would usually get the one that is gain flat ES on hit while affected by Discipline. And I'd also get the gain flat HP on hit while affected by Vitality on the same one. And I feel probably a streamer covered it, classic, but people knew about that, but it felt like, I don't know, you could get those for a div or something. And now, if you want that, I mean, you could look, maybe it's not that bad. While affected by Discipline, gain energy shield per enemy hit, and then while affected by Vitality, gain life, 7 divs. I mean, that's not that bad, actually. I feel like back in the day, though, you could get, for this price, you could get these 2 nodes and then another node that was good. A third useful node, and it'd be around this price. And if you just wanted these 2 nodes, I feel like you could get it for like a div or like 1 to 3 divs. And last league, these were ridiculous. I kind of played late last league, but I tried to get just the energy shield one. The prices were heinous. I don't know what the hell happened.
I did it.
Oh, did I actually get
we
cucked on
did
this
it.
one? Oh
The
no!
location of the temple is now clear.
Was I not paying attention when I
Remember to
did
watch
some
your
of these
step,
and I
Exile.
just didn't link them?
We may have helped build this
Do I have
layout,
explosive?
but a lot
Wait.
can change in 2,000 years.
No!
There's no telling what kind of
What the
things have
fuck?
taken up residence in those
How did I
regions.
do this? I must have not been paying attention. That's a tragedy.
Hello. Farewell.
All my money this league is literally that. Time clasp. Whatever.
Godslayer.
I'm just being lazy at alcheming my maps, even though I should just... I should just fucking buy some maps. Keurig,
How's the trail?
does he have maps that I haven't done? There's one.
The job never ends.
Yeah. But on, wait, how many beats are there on this map? God damn. On GG being kind of held hostage by their community, I think it's a tricky thing where there's the idea of the customer is always right. The thing about that is I think that's contextually true. It's true if you're thinking about it in terms of the customer is always right if you're thinking about it from the perspective of, you know, what the customer thinks about your product or whatever is always going to be the driving force of if it's successful or not. But is the customer literally always right? No, I think that's only contextually true. And I think sometimes people say that when they're complaining about shit and they just want shit their way. There's the classic, you think you want, but then you don't actually want it meme. That is a thing though. Maybe,
We will be best friends, please, until we
like, it's certainly the case that you should take some feedback,
This one is
community
captured. We will
feedback
be
with basically
best
everything, but
friends until we slaughter you.
game companies should take some amount of feedback, devs should. But if they take every bit of feedback and there's a bunch of like whiny baby people that want the game to just be infinitely easy until it becomes like, this is what some people say happened to modern WoW. I kind of agree. Is the game just became such a weird amalgam of random convenience for the early game that now the early game basically isn't a video game the way that I see it. But then the late game is like suddenly kind of, you have to grind and it's kind of hard. But leveling in modern WoW is so like unfun that it's just such a weird juxtaposition. It's like the worst of all worlds, basically. And it's because people didn't want to do the kind of grind that existed in Classic before, which is fair if you've done that a bunch of times. But was the answer adding a store button where you can pay $60 to skip that, and then also just making that experience mind-numbingly easy to the point where the only way that you can fuck up is if you're actively falling asleep at the wheel or, you know, something's wrong with you physiologically is how you have to be able to mess up leveling in that game. It's like, at that point, what is the point of playing? There's like no fail case, you know? So the only thing in a game where there's no fail case, the only incentive maybe you would have to play is, there's two things that I can think of off the bat. One is the future promise that it evolves into an actual game, right? So you're playing because it's going to get fun later, which is why people play WoW, in my opinion.
Here's the plan.
And then
It's time.
the other one is the kind of visceral fun, so the kind of experience you get when the feeling when you play really fun combat, or when you play something that has really good just feel to it. It feels like literally fun when you're moving around, or like, for instance, a racing game has this. When you're racing and you're drifting around corners and you feel the simulated inertia and all that, there's a kind of fun, just the basic level of gameplay is fun. That's the only appeal that you can really have left that's real, in my opinion. But the problem is like these old RPGs.
Good job, Exile.
I mean, the game feel of POE 1 is pretty decent when you're kind of blasting, but in the beginning, like, it's okay, but you wouldn't solely bank on that, right? If there was no progression in POE, nobody would fucking play it. Right, so some games lean on the sense of progression or a conceptual fun, and some games lean on a visceral type of enjoyment or fun, you know. And a lot of games do both, but they have a different proportionality of both. I think the issue with wanting games to kind of remove the grind or be infinitely easier, obviously games can be too hard, too punishing, and too grindy, or they can just be not even hard, but they can be inconvenient in ways that are annoying, right? But it is also the case that if you make the game too convenient and too kind of brain dead easy, which I don't think POE 1 is close to, by the way, but like, this game is nowhere near that for people. Maybe once you know everything, but I don't know.
I have to say, Exile.
But once you make things go, basically, there's a sweet spot somewhere, the middle road, where there's a degree of difficulty, and that's going to scale with each player, right? You're going to have somebody who doesn't play video games who, if they tried to play, then they would find it hard just because they can't even move their character around on a basic level. But it's like, is that your target audience? Is some 57-year-old farmer guy who's like never played a video game and he randomly downloaded Path of Exile for some reason? You know, or is it your gamers, the people who are gonna actually grind your game and buy all of your fucking skins, right? And there's some overlap and there's people in between. It's more complicated than just simply people are giga gamers or they're fucking giga noobs. That's more people are kind of where I'm at, where if they have time, they'll game a bunch and they'll get into it if they feel like it, but if not, then it is what it is, you know? I think there is a risk, though, of listening to the community too much. I think there is. I think for example, everybody hated Calandra. That was when I started, so I probably have a weird viewpoint of Calandra. That was my first league. So I don't know. It's kind of nostalgic to me. But for example, I would not mind. I don't know if I would mind if the game was like that. Maybe not permanently, but for a league, I think if I was playing back then, I don't think I'd be mad at Kalandra. This guy won't stop hitting the 50-50. But certain players in this game just have such a specific niche way they want to play the game, and if anything gets in the way of that, they kind of just get upset. I think the problem, though, is some of them have a level of entitlement to the game or ownership where they're like, this is my game, you guys can't change it in this way that I find dumb. And then they also have some of the streamers who get pretty negative about the game. I mean, nobody's like Path of Math here anymore that I see, but some people just get a little annoying, complainery, and they just sound upset and mad, and I feel like it makes people, even if their message is true, it just makes people not want to listen to them because they're just being bitches about it. There's also a certain thing. It's like, how could the devs be so dumb, right? And this shit, and it's like, if we were in their shoes, do you really think they're just morons? It's kind of just an annoying, like, sure, do they make dumb decisions? Yeah, but they also have the entire rest of the game to be running in general. And are there things, like I said before, where there are just skills in this game that you could buff by 3x and it would be fine, and you should do that because, you know, nobody's played those skills in 10 years. Yeah, I think that's like an easy win, and I don't get why they don't do that more. Buff all tax sweepers.
There you are.
But
Let's go.
if you listen to every person who's like, where's my loot? Man. My strat where I was getting 5 mage bloods, you know, per map is like dead. It's like even this league, people are complaining about the tree being too OP, and I think it is too OP. The loot that it gives you is heinous. So you see, there's that balance. You can't make the game a progression-based game. Just poop out the loot that you want instantly, because then, well, your fucking journey's dead, your progression's dead. The only thing left is to just play the character for a bit and be like, look at my guy in all his glory. Right? I mean, the normal experience of playing a POE character is, right now, if I completed every piece of gear that I have perfectly, which I basically change out every piece, right, I would play some maps and maybe I would farm a bit, maybe, but I'd probably be like, sick, I did it, you know. It's that whole cliche thing of it's the journey, not the destination. But unironically, in this video game it is, and in a lot of progression-based video games it is, and it's a kind of human cognitive trap, or not even a trap, but it's just it's like a trick of our mind that we always think that we're aiming for the destination, but the whole point, it's the journey along the way, right? That is true though. It's cliche, but there's a reason why people say that. But it still feels like the destination matters, even though, like in this game, you're gonna complete the character, maybe you'll farm a bit on it. Some people farm a lot on their character, I've done that before, but on average, you're gonna quit the character and never play it again. Maybe after doing some bosses and shit. This damage is not that bad. I wish there was a blazing salvo cosmetic. So yeah, if you listen, so the thing about listening to customers or players or whatever, I think is like, GGG has to use their discretion, obviously, right? It's one of those things where if they just listen to dummies, the game will suck. If they just listen to people that are ultra complainer, fucking whining about every fucking other league, any little thing that interrupts the way that they like the game, and they're like, right? If they listen to that, or, you know, where's my super power crept Omega OP shit, then it's,
Ah, there you are. It's time.
you know, then every mechanic is just gonna be the Genesis tree or whatever it's called, right? And the thing about these mechanics in this game is many of them are competing. And the Genesis tree produces gear, right? It produced, like, I think it produced these. It produced this. And it produced a ring that I had and my old shield. But it produces gear, and right, the first thing that people realize when you put the Genesis tree in and it produces insanely good gear pretty easily is, oh, now I don't give a fuck about ground loot besides, you know, some specific uniques. And they added asynchronous trade, so every random unique, not every random unique, but a lot of uniques that, for instance, what was this one? Leadership. I don't know what leadership is normally in a league, but I don't think it's 1C. Maybe a really, really bad one, but like this one's not even that bad. 1C. This one has no negatives. 1C. Right? Because you're adding asynchronous trade too, so many of the uniques are actually going to be trash that people who are juicing are not even going to pick up. They're going to just take it off their filter. Right?
Good job.
So if you make things too convenient and too good, it conversely, in a weird way, ends up making you feel like nothing matters in the game and it's all pointless anyways. If I make an item that you can get on the beach that is the Exodia item, if I put, what is that fucking, the Utmost? If I put a perfect rolled Utmost in the beach in Act 1 for every person, then that means no amulets matter anymore unless you're doing a very specific
There you are.
build with
Time to
that
go.
needs a specific amulet. Perfect rolled Utmost for everybody. Boom. Okay, now amulets don't matter because we have the best amulet and we all got it. Right? It's kind of an economy of values, and I think so. Like, there's some people who don't understand that, you know, and that's fine. But there's some people who kind of short-sightedly argue for just things to be like, oh, I just like, where's my divs, man? And it's like, but sometimes that's true. So they have to use, the GGG has to use their discretion
Good
and
job,
figure out,
Exo.
okay, like, do we need to give them more divs? Or are they being pussies, right? I don't know. It's tricky. And especially in this game, when this game wasn't designed to have asynchronous trade. It now has it. And the economy is probably going to be really weird and fucked. I've just been farming Alva. I think Alva and... I mean, Alva's not that
Ah, there you are.
big of money
Ready
right
to
now.
revisit the past?
The rooms are like
The more
50C,
you kill,
40C.
the more you change. Let's go. Greetings.
Yo. I mean, personally, I think... I wouldn't even call it SSF. I think the game should be more balanced around it being straight up a single player game. Not even SSF, because SSF is... I mean, that's what it is, right? But, you know, fundamentally, this is a game that is co-op / you can play by yourself mostly, and most people just do the whole time. I think they should probably just have balanced it from the beginning around just you just playing by yourself and not trading at all. And then if you want to be a trade cuck, you can just trade. But I think more things should drop from more specific stuff. If you want to have global drops, do it. But for instance, I think if you want to farm a specific thing, you shouldn't. I mean, there's a lot of things you can target farm, but the target farming in POE is not that good. I don't think it's done in a very good way. I think most RPGs do it better, where it's, hey, here's this specific mob, and he drops this specific item. You need it, go kill him over and over again. I think there's a simple kind of fun thing about that. My favorite RPG that did that was Phantasy Star Online, episodes 1 and 2 with the GameCube / it was called Blue Burst, the PC one, but it was an old game, right? And the way that they did it in that game,
Ah, there you are.
it's the most
Ready to
seamless,
Let's go.
and it's so intuitive, and it makes so much sense, where there are global drops, and there are, you know, a lot of like common drops or whatever, like in many RPGs, but it does this thing where I don't know if it's all uniques. I think there's kind of global drops for uniques, but if you're getting a unique, a lot of the time the unique legitimately drops from one type of guy or like a few types of guys, and usually it's thematically related. So there's these weapons called like Grass Assassin Sabers, which the Grass Assassin is like an enemy that looks like a praying mantis. And the weapons are just the praying mantis claws, reverse gripped and used as gigantic daggers. That's sick. And how do you get them? You kill the guy who has them. That just makes so much intuitive sense. I don't know why more games don't do this. Some games do, but I wish PoE had more of that, where it's like, you know, maybe if you want to farm some like that, like all the skeleton themed items, or say if you want to farm the Monogrel's Grasp or whatever it's called. It's like the zombie hand weapon that makes zombies have double life or whatever the fuck it is. If you want to farm that, right, maybe you could have it be global, but what I would do is I would make it so zombies just drop it at a way higher rate. So if you're doing a zombie build, you're like, how can I connive my way into just, you know, doing a bunch of maps that have the highest likelihood of having a bunch of zombies in them. So now you're favoriting maps based on, I want this item, you know, I'm going to favor all these. I'm going to get Monogrel's Grasp. I'm going to farm out the zombies. That's way more of a better RPG experience. And you're like strategizing around it. It's kind of like this fluid thing versus trade. Boom. Trade is cool, but I don't know. In my opinion, this game in some ways doesn't function that well as a single player game. And with trade, it kind of just feels like you're cheating. So to me, I mean, I want to make a strong build. Sometimes, you know, I'm down to kind of cheat at getting some items, and just because I want to make something silly like this where I'm doing, you know, 10 attacks per second, cast on crit, fucking blazing salvo.
Greetings.
Right.
Journey
So
well.
when you cheat, but you're using some skill that's like kind of whatever, or some, right, if you're not going off of a build and you're kind of just winging it, then in this game that helps a lot because, well, it's hard to do that in this game. Oh my god, 400 mil, dude. Fuck me. Do I corrupt my Awaken cast on crit? But yeah, it's like, if they added the things from Necropolis League back, specifically the cool part of Necropolis where you could add specific mobs to maps, it'd be kind of like a Scarab or something like that, where you're like, I'm gonna put in, 10 packs of skeletons or whatever, and then you could do that, and then you could favor cemetery, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna farm skeletons because skeletons drop whatever the fuck, That would be so much cooler of a way than just everything is, I'm lagging, everything is a vague global drop. I think global drops kind of suck. They're good because, yes, everything could have value, but the key, I think, is you need a good amount of global drops that people care about, like a baseline. Oh, I got one of these. But then I think it's way more interesting when you have cool specific drops. And I think mob types are the coolest way to do that. Right, like what's another one? You could make Headhunter drop from rogue exiles who have bows. Right? But you could like, I mean, maybe some people will be mad about this because people farm for Headhunter. And you could still have the global drop. You could literally just leave the global drop alone, but you could make it so dexterity based rogue exiles, specifically with you can make it hyper specific, have a way increased chance of dropping Headhunter. And then you'd have people trying to farm Headhunter by trying to get those guys to spawn, fishing for those guys. Increased damage taken. What? I'm not doing that. My character's probably not strong enough to do a Wildwood map, but the question is, can you resist a Wildwood when it spawns? You could do, what's like a cool GG item for a specific type of build? I think Mageblood is cool as a global, super rare drop, but then again, I'm closing in on 3k hours in this game, and I've never even seen a hint. I've never dropped that. I've never dropped, what's it called? I've never dropped Headhunter or that. Which is kind of crazy, right? That's a little ridiculous. Although I guess if they didn't reset the leagues and I just kept playing the same character and I was just blasting the whole time, I probably would. So there's a lot of that is just like okay, that guy just fucked me. a lot of that is just getting your guy back up to speed so he can actually farm, right? My character's right, I can't farm stuff that's that crazy with this guy yet. Oh! Fucking god. Oh! He's a beast. He's literally a beast, too. Fucking hey, dude. Just die. Murder Fang, Tasted, Hastora, Primal. Oh my god, he's primal in power. That's why I'm like, why is he so strong? And I immediately forgot that I just did the Wildwood thing. It's ridiculous. I probably am just gonna rip this map. It doesn't even have that hard mods on it. I feel like I should be decently defensive. If I proc Wind Dancer, I'm almost evade capped. I'm almost suppress capped. I have chance to avoid from this, and I have elusive on my thing. I feel like I have a lot of div cards. I can't do more damage right now. Let's get shredded. Holy.
You are well prepared for the end. This is a fight.
Brain ground makes the map so
There
fucking
you are.
ugly.
Ready to revisit the past?
Looks
The
like I'm
more
just
you
gonna get
kill,
nothing out of
it's
this one.
time.
Also, another reason why, you know, a lot of people don't ever get Mate's Bloods or crazy drops is a lot of people, I mean, I'm talking, this is how I play. A lot of the time while you're playing, you don't want to blast super hard and go as fast as possible because there's a part of that that's kind of exhausting. I could go insanely faster on these maps. I mean, as long as they don't frame. Maybe not, but there's also just a kind of like, I'm just kind of chilling right now though. Right? I probably should be going a little faster. This guy's kind of strong.
Good job.
I wish Alva dropped the loot instantly. Yeah. I think this game would be so much better if they did that loot change. If they made more loot drop from specific mobs and make it thematic. And you could keep the global drops and just nerf them a bit. Or just literally keep them. It'd be so cool. I'm trying to think, what's another thematic unique? What's a unique that I use? I mean, there's obviously boss uniques that do drop from a specific thing. But, right, like Anathema. Anathema is a super cool unique. What would Anathema drop from? Because it's kind of rare. It's not that rare. If you're grinding relatively hard in a league, or, you know, you have some magic find or whatever, you'll probably get a few. Anathema. I feel like it's curse related. You could put it on like cultist type enemies or something like that. Like maybe Kitava cultists or something. You could put it on a few different things, but I feel right, let's say you put it on is Anathema like in the lore related to any of the
There
gods
you
or
are.
anything? I don't know.
Let's
But if you
go.
put it on like Kitava cultists, right? Okay, that gives you a way, you know, I can farm Anathema now. Even if you make its global drop 0, but then you just make it so, say against Kitava cultists, it's like a 1 out of 1,000 chance to get an Anathema. I like that paradigm a lot more than just every mob you kill, there's like a pool of a billion uniques and you're just going to get a random one. Is probably going to be a doo-doo one. Because functionally when you're running around and you're not trying to target farm, it will kind of work that way anyways, right? Even if they did implement this. Another fucking temporal bubble guy. Oh, he's killing me. Bro. Temporal bubble guys are so annoying when you're casting crit.
Good job.
Alva, hurry up with your fucking loot. This Alva got
There you are.
fucked.
Ready to revisit the past?
Damn. I didn't even
The
get
more you kill, the more
one
you
of the good
kill.
rooms.
Time to go.
right? You could have some of the vol uniques. A lot of the vol uniques are drop specific, I think, but right, you could have some of them. Just make them drop from the fucking Alva Temple and that's. And that would make it so if there's an unpopular tile set, right, that has a mob type that's kind of niche or whatever, but that drops a specific thing, it would give people a reason to try to seek it out. And maybe, you know, a certain unique becomes rare because, oh, this league, there's no map that people like to farm that has zombies on it, so Monogrowth Grass is rare or whatever. Not that people use that a lot, but even if it is rare, right, if you were in trade, say you can't find one for cheap, you could just go farm it now. I don't know. I feel like that's way more
There you are.
analogous.
Ready to revisit
Hey,
the
gem
past?
cutters when the fucking
The
thing's
more you
over.
kill,
I have to get the double upgrade or I lose. It's way more analogous to a kind of normal RPG progression experience, which I honestly think is better than POE in a lot of ways. POE's strengths, in my opinion, are, I mean, the progression is cool of making your character, but it's more that you can make your character so specific and so customized, so complex, and you can make these really intricate builds with so much synergy. What the fuck? Oh, I switched my weapon set. Right, you can make a build that is ridiculously intricate, right? That's the cool part of PoE. I don't think, like, the campaign is solid in PoE 1 for Act 1 through 4. The rest of it is dog shit, right? And I hate doing it every single league. I'm annoyed. Did I get it?
You and the architect of
No.
Thornwood Head.
And like I said, the map progression to me is like kind of, it's like okay. I think maps are fun once I've finished this. I like maps. I don't really enjoy hunting down the specific. I just find that kind of like tiresome. But I'm not really like annoyed about it. I'm just kind of like, eh. To me, the appeal of PoE is you can make sick builds and you can usually scale some really cool concept to being pretty decent, and you can kind of farm with it and blast with it. Right, Cast on Crit is a classic example of that. It's a fun, interesting, a compelling archetype. Hey, every time you crit with a weapon, right, with an attack, you shoot a spell. That's just a fun idea, right? And it's like, it gives you these problems that you have to solve in order to do it. It's not just free, right? It gives you, you know, you need accuracy cap. However you want to do that. You need crit cap. However you want to do that. And then you need to, you know, scale your CDR. It gives you all of these problems to deal with. And then the higher you can get all those things until they're perfect or whatever, then your Cast on Crit guy is getting better, right? Builds like that are fun. The brand recaller thing. The brand recaller thing is cool or compelling. Unfortunately, it's kind of bad, except with like a few spells, or unless you do a super weird setup with it, like my last one. It also lags the game, which is just kind of unlucky. I mean, I'm kind of lagging the game right now. It's probably just because I'm streaming right now. Just testing out a little stream. I think there are a lot of little things that could be done to improve this game. the devs have to listen to the right people. Like they unironically do though. I'm not saying that's me, but it's I think it's people underestimate how difficult of a position they're in my opinion. Right, you have the community basically crying to add this, the asynchronous trade, for years. And they're like, it's gonna cause all these problems. And I mean, I agree. I was one of the people who I played PoE, and I'm like, why is this not in the game? My mindset more now is, I think, why is the game not more friendly to just playing by yourself and not trading at all? Right? I think those loot changes would make the game infinitely better than having trade. It's just making everything target farmable. I think every single item pretty much should be target farmable. I think it's just more fun. And thematically target farmable too. That's sick.
I won't die so easily.
Just click the buttons. Ugh. The Wildwood Wisp shit adds a little bit of frame lag. What the fuck is so weird? Nice FPS. That full shit. Yeah. Fuck. I should have spent my stuff.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
But yeah, I think they're in a really tough position, the PoE devs. They're kind of semi-hold a little bit hostage to their community. Like, some of the people were so... These fucking tourists, man. But I think some of the PoE 1 streamers were so... kind of noxiously negative about PoE 2. Right? I think it's Steam reviews still haven't recovered. The Steam reviews got nuked for PoE 2 because, unironically, I think, of just straight up the streamer community of the game. Right? That's why. Now, is PoE 2 perfect? Right? I have a lot of things where in PoE 2, I think the game is a lot worse and a lot more boring. And I think specifically what I don't like about PoE 2 is it feels like they're a little bit trying to cuck stuff like this. Where is it? Like this. Cast on crit. Not necessarily. Like,
Greetings.
they started out with a bunch of trigger gems in the game. It feels like the way, though, they're trying to push you into this methodical, like, visceral gameplay style, which, in my opinion, is, like, it's hard to combine that with PoE, auto bomber, super, you know, automated or intricate. Everything is like 75 different combining,
I mean,
what would you call it?
we did it.
Synergizing pieces of your build. It just feels like where PoE 2 is at right now. It just feels like it's trying to cuck you out of fun shit. Right? I was trying to build the trigger stuff, but then people figured out OP stuff with the trigger stuff. And then, you know, what they did with that, though, is they just nerfed them to the point where they were unusable. And then you had to find another... You had to find, like, basically an exploit way to make it work again. And this kept happening. They kept removing it. And it's like, so do you just not want triggers to exist in PoE 2? There's a weird thing there. Where it's like... There is a lot with PoE 2 where it's, like, kind of whatever. And I think... that's mainly in the build diversity and the interesting amount of stuff to do in the game relative to PoE 1. But that's from people who play PoE 1. My point is, POE 2 would never, a game like that would never have reviews that are mixed. It had mixed reviews on Steam. Think about how beautiful that game is. Think about the music, the voice acting, how it looks, you know, all the SFX, whatever, like the blood, the abilities. Sure, the visual clarity's fucked, but it's like, it always is in this game. It is what it is, you know? But, I don't know. I don't think that game never in a million years would have mixed reviews at all if it wasn't called Path of Exile 2 and it wasn't kind of, if you want to use the word brigaded or whatever, by POE streamers, POE 1 streamers who got negative about it. That is true, I think. I think if it released under a different name, all the same people who were shitting on it because they wanted to be more analogous to POE 1 would have been like, this is the most promising ARPG, holy shit, this is exciting. They would still have problems with it, as I do. You know, I kind of think that its ability design is a little bit contrived, and its ability design is kind of contrived in an obnoxious way, where it's like, do a backflip and, you know, twist their nipple and then you do a crit. It's like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? You can do contrived combat like that, where there's really specific stuff you have to do, but the way that the way it's landing in PoE 2, it's just not landing. And it doesn't have to be a blasting simulator like PoE 1. It can be more visceral and like slowed down a bit. And there can be parts in the game where it's kind of a bit of both, and there can be bossing where it's more of like the Souls experience. There's a lot of stuff there, but my point is, people's problems with the game, especially with like the second patch or whatever, people were so overreacting in my opinion with how butthurt they were. And it's like, they were just shitting on the devs, like, these devs are fucking retard, you know what I mean? It was ridiculous. And it's like, guys, you're really trying to tell me this game deserves mixed reviews on Steam? On Steam, games that have mixed reviews are like buggy, you know, scam games. Like games that literally don't even work. Games that are so buggy they barely work. Or, you know what I mean? Like Ark. We've been playing Ark. Ark is the buggiest piece of shit game. It is also fun. And it has the worst devs ever who put out a new patch. And they basically broke the game. And they still haven't fixed it. The main menu barely fucking works. And it legit freezes like half the time. The main menu fucking freezes. If you open up the game and you click like twice, it will freeze. Hey, I don't even know what the fuck these do. I just ran out of currency ones. Should I make a unique?
She is pleased.
Right, so what is this? Melee and melee weapon type mods and radius are transformed to bow. Do people actually use this? It makes it like kind of a noise, but I don't believe it though. Lion Eyes Fall. Let's look. I think it's a fake mini tink. Lion Eyes Fall. 1C. Thanks, game. Oh wait, this is armor. Oh, here we go. 2C. Wow. Big win.
Yes, just like that.
What the fuck? Hey, a gamble. Let's see. One max endurance. Gain up to maximum endurance when you take a crit. You nearby party members is equal to yours. Could you do some like weird minion shit with this where it's like, my minions have 10 endurance charges? I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could, I guess. This is a poop one. Feels bad, man. Let's see. I don't even know. What am I rolling? I'm trying to make rings and shit, I guess. I don't care. I don't want to read the tree right now. so I'm not going to. I'm just going to click use and hold it up. Poop belt. The level 73 ones probably just ruin it. Valborn gifts from above. Which one is this? Level 10 consecrate. When you deal a crit. Wait, it's cast on crit. Increase rarity by enemies killed with a crit 40%. Really? I mean, that's kind of something. Increase damage while on consecrated ground. Wait, is this good? What the fuck? Chance to block attack damage while, and then increase effective ground you create. What the fuck? 50% increased damage. Isn't this just better than this? I mean, this isn't that good. I mainly just wanted endurance charges, and I was not finding an easy way to generate them, but I don't know. 50% increased damage. Oh, it's not the. I was thinking of the effects that are monsters take increased damage on consecrated ground, which is a more multiplier, or it's like a whole separate multiplier, even beyond more. And this is just increased damage. Never mind.
She is pleased.
The effing worm. Pile of shit. And Varus. Cuck ring.
Yes, just like that.
I don't think there's anything that's level 69 that is good for uniques, but hey, here you go. What does it say? It wants me to use 50k. I still have 4k. Make some normal items now. So we've got not that good of a helmet. It's like okay. We've got chaos. We got 100 regen, 90 life. I mean, like that in another league, maybe that'd be good for a bit, but not in this one.
The Genesis tree accepts your offering.
Okay. So we have 700 evasion, 200 ES, 170 life, 120 regen. This is kind of good. Is this just better than what I have right now? I don't really need the ES, but I guess I have 1300 evasion. Like this helmet would be would be crazy in another league. In another league, you would put that up and people would be like, holy shit. Yeah. 48 cold, 48 lightning. This is also pretty good. Damn. What the fuck, dude? This league is crazy. I mean, it's a fractured, but it's like kind of whatever mod. 900. That one's bad. I don't know.
I need more pockets.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm trying to click on you, bitch. To be honest, I think I have most of these uniques. This one is mid.
Be ever vigilant.
I mean, I can just throw those in my shop, and then they just will sit there for the rest of the league. That'll be fun. Manage shop. So, I mean, does anybody give a single fuck about T1 Cold Res Fracture in this league? Probably not. I mean, like, legit. I don't even know if it'll sell for
Hopefully there'll be
1.
interest.
There's just so much stuff on the market. This is never selling. Neither is that. This one is kind of. T1 Chaos Res. T1 Regen. I mean, Regen's okay. This is like. I don't know, maybe somebody wants it. It's fucking. Kind of can fix your build for a second. This one, same thing. Like 1200. 1200 evasion, 150 life, but it's just. How would you not just make your own one? No. I don't think those are gonna sell. And there is the direct kind of evidence of what we were talking about, where it's like, yeah, if you make a mechanic that just prints out whatever you want, well, then it devalues whatever you want. So whatever the thing that is you're wanting, now it's worth nothing. Fuck yeah. So basically, baseline rares that aren't really specific, that aren't influenced or something like that, are worth nothing this league. Which is whatever. I mean, it's one league, it'll be fine. This item is fucking sick. I want to make a build with this. How much is a perfect one of these? I almost want to buy a perfect one. Okay, so we need to add increase intelligence. So you would want that at 7. Then we got increased maximum. Ooh. Increased life, I think the max roll is 17. What was it? Oh, minion, what the fuck? How did I click the minion one? 17. Okay, so 10C. Level of all spell gems. Wait, how did I go wrong? A div we're up to. And this one's kind of close. So this is like 5 divs for like a pretty close to perfect one. But what if you do this and you put the life to 15? Boom. Okay, there's one more. Ooh, 50. Here it is. 77 divs. God damn. I mean, this thing is sick. I do want to do a build with this. I would honestly take one that's just like this, but then with max damage roll. Can I control F on this shit? No, fuck. I don't know how to search this mod and make it work. Because it's like gives you a range, but then it's like, you know what I mean? It's giving you a range for a thing that has a range. So here's 50, one div. Is there one for one div that has... I would buy one for one div probably that had just all positive perfect int, and then the max this thingy. But mine is, the one I have I bought for like 5C, and it's like 48 high-end damage, so it's like, how much is that off? Fucking 5? Wow. 5 flat lightning damage, is that worth a div? This is crazy though, isn't it? 10 per 10 int, am I misreading this? 100C, alright, now they're more. I think the one that I got is just a solid deal. It's 1 to 48, so it's only 5 flat off of the max. And then it's positive on all the other shit. It doesn't give you much life, but it has max int roll, whatever. Fucking cringe. Yeah, I do have fucking no money in this league. That is true. I don't know if they nerfed loot, but it feels like it. It's whatever. I am fucking poor. How much is this shit that I need? I need to upgrade my build, Relicash, to do a swap to a Graven's secret thing. Power charge. What is it? Always count. Whatever. Fucking. Count as having. Okay. Count as having maximum number of power charges. 1.5 divs? That's not that bad. Okay. That's pretty cheap. What else do I need? I would have to switch all my gear, but I mean the tree can just poop me out good ES gear or good hybrid gear. And then I would probably, I mean at some point I'll probably throw this. Yeah, I would get a Malachi's Loop, Graven Secret, Ralakesh. I mean Precursor Emblems would always be nice, but any one of these that is even mildly good, people want so much fucking money for it. Precursor Emblem is a fucking piece of shit unless it's a goated one, and the goated ones are like 50 divs. Would I get rid of Skin of the Lords? I'm actually kind of... Skin of the Lords is kind of a banger with these new bases. Like, look at this. Look at this shit. Boom. It's basically like having a really good chess piece that just gives you plus, you know, your normal amount, because now your other bases have so much, your boots, your helmet, your gloves have so much base stats on them. So yeah, my other build, where I went Blazing Salvo, trigger bot setup, I was going the brand recall thing, but I think this time what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to drop leadership's price. I'm probably going to keep Supreme Ostentation because I just like it and it's convenient and I can tattoo everything. But then I'm going to drop this and I'm going to go fucking Eye of Innocence again. I'm going to go Eye of Innocence, Graven Secret with like 10 plus power charges. So then you have elemental damage recoup over 100%, right? And then I'm going to be closer to crit cap. Hopefully then dropping Brittle is fine. I might go CI. I don't know. I might not. Because I could just not, and I could just theoretically, I don't know. But either way, I'm going to go off of Eldritch Battery is the main thing, because then I can solve mana by going mana recoup. from the damage that I take. So all the self damage, I can make other little trigger setups, and then I can have mana recoup to solve my mana issues, kind of like a loop build would. And then if I do go CI, then I should get a pretty big ES pool, like 8k or something. And then I'll have Chaos Inoculation, so immune to Chaos. And for, what is it called? For elemental damage, I'll have 100% recoup, so if it doesn't one-shot me, it heals me. The fuck is that?
What are we
this?
shipping today?
So if it doesn't one-shot me, it just heals me. And I mean, I would like to go hybrid though. How much energy shield could I really get to? I don't know, but it puts you in a position where you really, the only thing you're weak to anymore is Fizz, but then if you get some Fizz taken as Chaos or whatever, which I think they nerfed, wasn't there a source of it somewhere? I don't remember where that was, but you basically get a ton of regen. If you want, you can go Anathema and like make a bunch of meme setups with, you know, cast when damage taken, casting curses all over everything, which, I mean, that fucking shits on your mana, especially with trigger bots, but it is doable. I don't know. I might swap to that. I think the cast on crit angle is way better than the angle of last time I was doing the brand recall shit. The brand recall thing is just a cool combo, but it's kind of bad. And also my awakened cast on crit, I was gonna say is almost done, but it's not even fucking close. My awakened cast on crit, I own it now, and now I can eventually put it in. I don't know. This league is kind of like, it's kind of mixed for me. I like the mechanic. The tree is really cool thematically. The grafts, I think, are fun. I feel like GGG is always kind of cucking spellcasters. They always put more shit for attack builds. There's a bunch of good attack, like even this one that I'm using triggers on attacks, and the only, I mean, I don't care because I'm cast on crit, so I am attacking, but I don't know, it's just, fuck, dude, these guys are so fucking money hungry. What the hell? Making me poor, dude. And their town sucks. They haven't even done anything yet.
We've got a promising list of pick.
Oh shit.
The next set.
God damn. Wage is low key. Maybe tier 4 guys are worth because their wages are
Pick.
crazy less expensive. Look, tier 4, then the tier 5 guys are like 2k.
Here's the next set.
Wait, this guy costs only 300. Wait, should you be...
Great choice.
Do you have to account for people who are just overpriced? I didn't think about that. This guy's only 300 an hour. I should be looking for a bargain. These guys are scamming me. 2,000 an hour. I mean, I guess that's 4 guys. This one dude is 1,300 an hour. 700, 1,200 for 3. That's not that bad. What is this guy? This one level 5 dude is 900, but he is a disenchanter. Look, 3 of them. These 3 dudes who are level 4 are 800. Oh no, they make 800 an hour. They're 1,700 an hour. And then, right? It's kind of hit or miss, I guess. Like these guys, I have one higher and he's 220. Let's see what these guys are. These guys are level 3. They're trash. this guy's 1700 by himself. What the fuck? I thought people said that their other jobs don't influence their money or how much they cost, but okay, this is 1200, some like 1300, and then this is 1700, so it's 3K. Yeah, that lines up. It does just seem like this guy's heinously expensive. What the fuck? 1600. This guy's 9. This guy's 6. Or is it just that people are kind of just rolled and some of them are fucking scammers? Whatever. I'm done. This fucking shit is gay. This league sucks. Fuck GGG. All the streamers are cringe. No, this league is fine. It's fine. I do wish there was some cooler grafts. Maybe some, I don't know, maybe there are. I didn't even fucking look at what they added. But it felt like the best grafts I could manage on this one's kind of like a, what is it called? It's kind of like a molten shell, which is good, but it's like not that exciting. And then this one's kind of like every time you hit, you do a little fire tornado, which for me, cast on crit, kind of good because it puts what is it called? Covers them in ash, which is like just so happens I'm doing fire damage.
Just need a moment to
Why,
How much would this
hello.
be? Assign. Damn, I only have 4. How much do you cost? Holy shit. Dude, I'm way too poor for that. I need to do some omega grinding for gold for these bastards. Einhar's not cutting it.
Sonya will make good use of them.
Fuck. Wait, how long does this last? 5 hours? That's it? I'm fucking out of money. I feel like the only way you don't have enough money to trade is if you're running your King's March and you're just fucking perma out of money. Last league, I did try to run my King's March, and I was also swapping my build at the same time into some fucking theoretical shit that I didn't even know if it was gonna work, and it didn't work. And then I was out of gold, and I just had to ask my brother for gold because I couldn't trade to like get stuff to make my build functional again. Alright though, but I'm fucking done. This was a test stream, and shit is fucking cringe. Where's it?